Datta, Sri Guru Datta, Jai Guru Datta, Sri Guru Datta, Jai Guru Datta, Sri Guru Datta, Jai Guru Datta, Sri Guru Datta.
Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswatyai Namaha, Shri Padavallabha Narasimha Saraswati, Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Shri Ganapati Satchidananda Sadgurubhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Guru Datta and welcome to Datta Arpanam with your hosts Rishi Nirvan Baru
and Ravita Singh. Jai Guru Datta, Swagatam, and thank you for tuning in to Datta Arpanam, a showcase of the life, music and teachings of His Holiness Parama Pujya Dr. Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji of Avadhuta Dattapitam in Mysuru. Today's program begins with the offering of pranams, gratitude and this invocation prayer at the sacred feet of beloved Sadgurudeva Pujya Shri Swamiji, as this show, possible only through His divine grace, is offered to him. Please join Pujya Shri Bala Swamiji now in worship.
Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Shri Saraswatyai Namaha, Shri Padavallabha Narasimha Saraswati, Shri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Shri Ganapati Satchidananda Sadgurubhyo Namaha. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Bhuyuta Shri Hari Chinnitabhyam Agastya Rekhadibhiranchitabhyam Nigodha Bijakshara Mudritabhyam Namo Namas Sadguru Padukabhyam. Ganapati Gurumekam Satchidanandarupam Vibhudharivahasevyam Yogamargadhirudham Sharanamupagatanaamarti Sanghadrivajram Mama Hridaya Nivasam Bhaktinamro Namami, Bhaktinamro Namami.
Once again everyone, Swagatam, and thank you for tuning in to this morning's edition of Datta Arpanam. Today's program is being brought to you through the kind courtesy of Velini's Drug Mart Limited of 58-60 Sutton Street, San Fernando, Debe Supermart Limited of 182 SS Erin Road, Debe, Coquier Supermart Limited of 14 Naparima Mayaro Road, San Fernando, and Samtran Insurance Brokers Limited of 1126 SS Erin Road, Debe, and 225 Southern Main Road, Warrenville, Cunupia.
Over the past few weeks, through the grace of Pujya Shri Swamiji and his mother and guru Mata Jayalakshmi, the Dwadasha Sutras have been the subject of contemplation here on Datta Arpanam. Those Dwadasha Sutras are 12 instructions which were given to Sri Swamiji by Jayalakshmi Mata. These form the tenets by which she instructed that he should live his life. Sri Swamiji, in turn, by implicitly following these instructions and by sharing them with us, is passing on these teachings to us so that our own lives can be and should be governed by these Dwadasha Sutras.
So far on the series, discussion on the first 5 sutras has taken place. These sutras were: see me in all women, be compassionate to poor and socio-economically disadvantaged people, in all situations think and act according to the Shastras, protect the pious and virtuous even at the cost of your life, and consider all forms of life as equal, do not discriminate.
Today, contemplation on the 6th sutra will take place. In this sutra, Mata Jayalakshmi instructed her young son and sadhaka, Pujya Sri Swamiji, by saying, "Do not miss your daily disciplines at any cost. They should not inconvenience others, they should always benefit others."
And listeners, one discipline which should form part of our daily routine is Nama Sankirtana. So let us begin today's study of the 6th Dwadasha Sutra by implementing that sutra. And to further perform this action in keeping with the 6th Dwadasha Sutra, let us not only pray for ourselves, but let us pray for all of creation. May Lord Ganapati, the remover of obstacles, bless one and all.
Pujya Appaji has said that the well-being of this loka, or the well-being of this earth, is dependent on the well-being of the other lokas which are situated above and below the earth. And it makes sense. Think about it, right? If there is unrest in your country, is your home likely to be a calm and peaceful one? Not really, because the turmoil surrounding the home can enter the home. Similarly, when there is discord in one aspect of creation, there is a ripple effect that has the potential to spread to each and every one. So, while we should not pray for others because we need them to be happy, we should also recognize that the well-being of others has an impact on our well-being. And so, this gives us all the more reason to practice the 6th Dwadasha Sutra of Mata Jayalakshmi when she says that one's daily disciplines should always benefit others.
Bearing this in mind, you are invited to open the Bhajanmala app or visit the website www.bhajanmala.com, enter Bhajan ID number 4 and worship Lord Ganapati. May he remove the obstacles in the path of the upliftment of all of creation.
Siddhidhuta Buddhinatha Siddhinayaka Siddhidhuta Buddhinatha Siddhinayaka Ikshudanda Pashadasta Roga Nashaka Ikshudanda Pashadasta Roga Nashaka Siddhidhuta Buddhinatha Siddhinayaka Siddhidhuta Buddhinatha Siddhinayaka Ikshudanda Pashagasta Roganashaka Ikshudanda Pashagasta Roganashaka Siddhidhuta Buddhinatha Siddhinayaka Ikshudanda Pashagasta Roganashaka Shona Vastra Isha Putra Nadanatane 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 Sukshma Netra Bhakta Gasta Bhoktavadane Sukshma Netra Bhakta Gasta Bhoktavadane Shona Vastra Isha Putra Nadanatane Shona Vastra Isha Putra Nadanatane Shona Vastra Nadanatane Shona Vastra Isha Putra Siddhidutta Buddhinatha Siddhinayaka Siddhidutta Buddhinatha Siddhinayaka Ikshudanda Pashagata Roganashaka
A Kannada Lord Ganapati bhajan sung in Savitri Ragam. You were just listening to the namesake of Lord Ganapati, Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji, as he rendered that self-composed bhajan here on Datta Arpanam. Thank you for tuning in to today's offering, which is coming to you on 103.1 FM through the grace of Pujya Shri Swamiji, and thanks to the sponsorship by Samtran Insurance Brokers Limited, Debe Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited, and Kokie Supermart Limited.
Today, it is a pleasure to be sharing with you not just the sutra, but also thoughts inspired by the 6th sutra of Mata Jaya Lakshmi. That 6th sutra was, do not miss your daily disciplines at any cost. They should not inconvenience others. They should always benefit others.
We started with the end of the sutra when Jayalakshmi Mata specified that daily disciplines should always benefit others. Now let us dwell a little on the middle part of the sutra when she said it should not inconvenience others.
In Trinidad, we are so blessed and privileged that people of so many different backgrounds and ethnicities coexist peacefully. In other parts of the world, we see people who may be of the same religion but just different sects. Such people are at war with each other. But in this small Caribbean nation, while we do not live in a problem-free society, we are truly blessed as our national words of discipline, production, and tolerance are put into practice by many. Each of these 3 words is reflected in Mata Jaya Lakshmi's 6th sutra. We see the words discipline and production incorporated when she instructed young Sri Swamiji that he should not miss his daily disciplines at any cost. And we also see the word tolerance incorporated when she instructed that his daily disciplines should not inconvenience others.
Listeners, when one thinks about it, it really does feel like Trinidad is Datta land. We are so blessed to be the only Caribbean country in which His Holiness Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji, the modern-day incarnation of the aspect of Lord Dattatreya, has erected ashramas. There is also that story from the events leading up to the original incarnation of Lord Dattatreya, which always makes me think that our national colors of red, white, and black, like our national words mentioned earlier, were not so much chosen by man as much as they were inspired by God.
Sage Atri was the mind-born son of Lord Brahma. He was married to Mother Anasuya. Together, they were tasked with many duties in the early days of creation. But among these tasks instructed by Lord Brahma, one was the task of being responsible for procreation.
Because people were getting consumed with sensual desires, Lord Brahma felt that the incarnation of a savior who possessed immense moral and spiritual power was the only permanent solution to this problem he was seeing amongst people. Bearing this in mind, he performed the marriage of his son Atri to Anasuya Mata.
This couple, Atri and Anasuya, spent thousands of celestial years as man and wife. Their wedded life was full of tapas, faultless, marvelous, unequaled, and unsullied by lust. The noble couple spent thousands of years living an ideal wedded life, but the command to assist in the act of creation remained unfulfilled. This made the couple very unhappy.
So, accompanied by his wife, Atri went to the banks of the Nirvindhya river, where he began a very rigorous tapas. Standing on one leg in Garudasana, controlling his mind in accordance with the rules of pranayama, living on air and immersing himself in samadhi or deep meditation, Sage Atri performed penance for 100 years.
And while her husband was engaged in severe tapas, Anasuya Mata voluntarily undertook parallel disciplines. She kept a vigilant watch so that no obstacles would disturb her husband's penance.
Atri Maharishi's penance caused wonder to all three worlds. The power of his yoga was so strong that a mighty fire arose in his body. That fire emerged from the invisible opening at the center of the head. In no time, those flames spread over the three worlds and began to consume them.
Seeing the intensity of Atri's tapas, the Holy Trinity of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, who were responsible for the maintenance and protection of the world, felt immensely happy. Accompanied by a host of devatas, they appeared before the sage.
The three-colored luster of the Trinity illuminated Atri's mind like a flash of lightning. He was scared by the piercing light which the mind's eye could not tolerate, and he trembled. Somehow, he recovered and withdrew from his samadhi. As he opened his eyes, he saw before him Lord Brahma seated on the swan, Lord Vishnu on Garuda, and Lord Shiva on the bull. The three were flashing a red, black, and white effulgence and wore kind, sweet smiles on their gracious faces. With tears of joy in his eyes, Atri Maharishi prostrated on the ground before them, choked with emotion and ecstasy, and in a faltering voice, he extolled the Holy Trinity.
Listeners, Atri Maharishi saw the Holy Trinity shining red, white, and black. What significance those colors have in this country with the Trinity Hills, that the Avadhuta of Lord Dattatreya has chosen this land to erect not one, but 4 ashramas, as well as the largest Lord Hanuman Murti in the Western world, these things cannot be by accident. Nothing Sadguru does is by accident. But, getting back to the story of Lord Dattatreya's birth, The trio of Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara, pleased with Atri's devotion and steadfastness, pledged that out of their love for him and in appreciation of his tapas, they were giving themselves to him. They would be born to Atri and Anasuya with their respective aspects. Your desire, they said, will be fully fulfilled by the child who will be born to you. May auspiciousness come to you.
Listeners, you heard that in the 6th Dwadasha Sutra, Amma instructed her then 9-year-old son by saying, "Do not miss your daily disciplines at any cost. They should not inconvenience others, they should always benefit others." By incarnating first as the Holy Trinity, Lord Dattatreya himself has contributed to the implementation of this sutra. Remember, Lord Brahma wanted a savior to guide mankind away from its adharmic tendencies. Lord Dattatreya did that. And not only did he do that in that original incarnation, but he also took a human form in the present era to lead mankind successfully through modern-day problems. That incarnation is the incarnation known as Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji.
And the one who Lord Dattatreya chose to help him in fulfilling that mission, the Divine Mother he chose to not only be the mother to, but also the guru to that incarnation, was Mata Jayalakshmi. So let us all join in worshipping that Divine Mother. Please open the Bhajanmala app or website once again. This time enter Bhajan ID number 579 and join in Nama Sankirtanam.
లక్ష్మమ్మ అనాథనాథవు నీవేనమ్మ అమ్మ అమ్మ జయలక్ష్మమ్మ అనాథనాథవు నీవేనమ్మ. జయలక్ష్మమ్మ అనాథనాథవు నీవేనమ్మా. సావిత్రి లింగಣ್ಣ దంపతి ఫలమా సావిత్రి లింగಣ್ణ దంపతి ఫలమా నరహరి గృహమున దీపమ్మా నరహరి గృహమున దీపమ్మా జయలక్ష్మీపురమున బృందావనమున సచ్చిదానందుని రూపమ్మా జయలక్ష్మీపురమున బృందావనమున సచ్చిదానందుని రూపమ్మా సచ్చిదానందుని రూపమ్మా. అమ్మా అమ్మా జయలక్ష్మమ్మ అనాథనాథవు నీవేనమ్మా. జయలక్ష్మమ్మ అనాథనాథవు నీవేనమ్మా. అమ్మా అమ్మా జయలక్ష్మమ్మ అనాథనాథవు నీవేనమ్మా. అనాథనాథవు నీవేనమ్మా. అమ్మా అమ్మా జయలక్ష్మమ్మ అమ్మా అమ్మా జయలక్ష్మమ్మ అనాథనాథవు నీవేనమ్మా. అనాథనాథవు నీవేనమ్మా. అమ్మా అమ్మా.
A divine tribute to a divine mother. You are tuned in to Datta Arpanam on 103.1 FM. Thank you for tuning in to this morning's program, which is being sponsored by Samtran Insurance Brokers Limited, Debe Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited, and Kokie Supermart Limited.
Today, in discussing Mata Jayalakshmi's 6th Dwadasha Sutra, we learned that the purpose behind Puja Appaji's incarnation was to guide mankind through modern-day problems. And who could have ever imagined that this world, with all its modern medicine and modern technologies, would have had to face a global pandemic so recently? The answer to that question is Puja Appaji. He foretold of this pandemic years before it happened. But true to his purpose, he spent each and every day during the lockdowns keeping devotees' spirits up and keeping their minds not only distracted from the pandemic, but also focused on God. With daily bhajans or discourses or even calls to devotees' personal phones, Puja Appaji turned a time of worldwide chaos into a time of divine bliss for devotees.
And so, before we move forward with today's discussion then, let us offer hearts of gratitude to Puja Appaji for continuously guiding us through various means. Please open the Bhajan Mala app or visit the Bhajan Mala website www.bhajanmala.com once again. Enter Bhajan ID number 756 and join in praising Sadguru.
गुरु 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 सकल राधका 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 मम 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 तत्व राधका मम 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 दया राधका मम 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 तत्व राधका मम 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 तत्व राधका गुरु 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 सकल राधका गुरु 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 सकल राधका मम 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 तत्व राधका मम 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 तत्व राधका त्वया राधका त्वया राधका तव मम तव मम तव राधका तव मम तव मम तव मम तव मम तव मम राधका मम तव मम तव मम तव राधका तव मम तव राधका सोगम 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 ब्रह्म राधका सोहम 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 ब्रह्म राधका ब्रह्म राधका ब्रह्म राधका गुरु 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 सकल राधका गुरु गुरु मम मम त्वया राधका हे मम 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 त्वया राधका मम 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 त्वया राधका सत्य 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 ज्ञान राधका सत्य 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 ज्ञान राधका ज्ञान 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 धर्म राधका ज्ञान 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 राधका हे गुरु 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 सकल राधका गुरु 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 सकल राधका हे मम 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 त्वया राधका मम 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 त्वया राधका धर्म 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 ज्ञान राधका धर्म 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 ज्ञान राधका ज्ञान 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 धर्म राधका ज्ञान 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 धर्म राधका हे गुरु 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 सकल राधका गुरु 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 सकल राधका हे मम 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 त्वया राधका मम 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 त्वया राधका सत चित आनंद सच्चिदानंद Radhaka, Guru 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 Sakala Radhaka, Mama 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 Tvaya Radhaka, Mama 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 Tvaya Radhaka, Hey Mama 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 Tvaya Radhaka, Mama 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 Tvaya Radhaka, Guru 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 Sakala Radhaka, Guru 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 Sakala Radhaka.
Puja Appaji's bhajans like the one to which you just listened, remind us again and again that a thing of beauty is a joy forever. No matter how dismal circumstances may seem, when one listens to or sings Puja Appaji's bhajans, suddenly spirits get lifted. A smile forms on the face. Answers to confusing questions or answers to doubts pop into our heads. For such is the beauty of Puja Appaji's bhajans, Vedanta in the form of song. You are tuned in to Datta Arpanam on 103.1 FM. Today, the study of Mata Jayalakshmi's Dwadasha Sutras continues.
And just to remind you of the sutras covered over the past few weeks, they were see me in all women, be compassionate to the poor and socio-economically disadvantaged. In all situations, think and act according to the Shastras. Protect the pious and virtuous even at the cost of your life. And the fifth sutra was, consider all forms of life as equal, do not discriminate.
Today, contemplation is centered around the sixth sutra of Mata Jayalakshmi. Do not miss your daily disciplines at any cost. They should not inconvenience others, they should always benefit others. And not that we should ever harbor doubts about Guru or his teachings, but if ever such doubts were to crop up, one only needs to turn to Appaji's life story for clarification. So yes, you guessed it, of course there is a story which shows Appaji's appreciation for those who do not inconvenience others with their own practice. This story reminds us, like all of Appaji's stories do, that if we implement the lessons learned, we can improve not just ourselves, but society at large. Once, a concert for Sri Swamiji was organized next to a mosque. To avoid any inconvenience which could be caused by the loud relay of the prayers from the mosque authorities changed the direction of the speakers so that the broadcast was as far away as possible from the concert hall next door.
Appaji was surprised when he did not hear a loud relay from the mosque. He wondered if the mosque authorities had delayed the relay while the concert was going on. In his own compassionate and courteous way, he asked one of the assistants to go to the mosque and tell the organizers not to stop the relay on his account. The assistant came back and relayed the response from the mosque. The message sent back to Appaji was, thousands of people will be coming for the concert by Swamiji. The concert is for healing. Some of our people, meaning members of the Muslim faith, are also at the concert. A slight change in the direction of the loudspeakers will not matter for one day.
Appaji was so happy to observe their cooperation with his spiritual program. When asked why they were showing so much love and friendship, the mosque authorities replied, "You are showing friendship and affection to us, and we would like to reciprocate." And listeners, what makes that story even more beautiful than just hearing about it is knowing that it is true. I'm always amazed that in Trinidad there has evolved a habit of every event, big or small, being accompanied by blaringly loud music. Surely if an event is being hosted, once the music is loud enough for the event's attendants to hear, it does not need to be louder than that. While, for example, if it is a religious celebration, one may think he or she is sharing the glories of God with even those who are not present, remember, each of us has a different journey. The end destination is the same, but as Jayalakshmi Mata has instructed, our practices should not inconvenience others. We should not cross that line between hoping to benefit others and inconveniencing them. Mata Jayalakshmi and Puja Appaji have both taught us this.
Today, the sutra stating, "Do not miss your daily disciplines at any cost. They should not inconvenience others. They should always benefit others." That sutra has been approached from the tail end, starting with benefiting others, then moving on to not inconveniencing others. Now, let us work our way to the start of the sutra. Do not miss your daily disciplines at any cost.
In Sadhguru Stava, we learn of Puja Sri Swamiji's implementation of do not miss your daily disciplines at any cost, when in verse 5 we hear or we chant, Ganesha Homer Kadine, Nityam Shri Chakra Pujane, Dikshitam Satchidanandam, Sadgurum Tam Namamyaham. Here we are reminded of Appaji's consistent practice of performing both Shri Chakra Puja daily and Ganapati Homa every Sunday. But while we know that Appaji performs his daily disciplines at any cost, are we following his example?
Perhaps this other story from Appaji's life story will serve to remind us all of the importance of performing our daily disciplines. After all, every single story in Appaji's life story contains a deeper meaning. Every one of his stories is itself a lesson for us. This story is no different.
One year, during Sri Swamiji's birthday celebrations, at around 2 p.m., Appaji was sitting near some coconut trees to the west of the ashrama in Mysore. Usually when devotees are in his presence, they sit on the floor. So devotees were quite surprised when Appaji, seated on a chair, asked them to bring a second chair. Just then, a stranger, dressed like a tribal king, walked in unannounced and headed straight to where Puja Sri Swamiji was seated.
The stranger's hair was matted on top of his head. He had a mark of half a moon on his forehead, various beaded chains around his neck, a kamandalam in one hand, and a dandam with a half-moon tip in the other hand. He carried a tiger skin mat under his arms. The glow in his eyes was fierce enough to make the gathered devotees afraid. But unfazed by the stranger's fierce looks, Appaji stood to receive him.
The yogi walked in majestically and proceeded to ask in a commanding voice, "Are you Satchidananda?"
Sri Swamiji nodded his head in the affirmative and offered the Muni a seat.
The yogi started questioning Sri Swamiji about his spiritual accomplishments, but his tone was a confrontational one.
A devotee who was standing nearby was becoming furious. He spat on the ground in disgust. Seeing this, Sri Swamiji shouted at him, ordering him and his friends to move away from there.
The Muni said, "You saved them today by asking them to move away, but you cannot come to their rescue daily."
Appaji responded by saying, "I have preached to them to daily recite the name of the Lord. He will come to their rescue."
In that simple answer given by Sri Swamiji to the Muni, "I have preached to them to daily recite the name of the Lord, He will come to their rescue," we find a true gem of a lesson, and one which will help us in implementing the 6th Sutra of Jayalakshmi Mata, do not miss your daily disciplines at any cost. This short story shows us the immense benefit of sticking to our daily disciplines.
So, what are some of these disciplines Appaji has assigned to us? Well, we'll hear more about them after this next bhajan, the lyrics to which you can find by entering bhajan ID number 1339 on the Bhajanmala app or website.
Valli Vallabh Mam Pahi Sena Nayak Mam Pahi Valli Vallabh Mam Pahi Sena Nayak Mam Pahi Valli Vallabh Mam Pahi Sena Nayak Mam Pahi. Kumara Rupa Shubha Nama Mam Pahi, Kumara Rupa Mam Pahi, Guha Shubha Nama Mam Pahi, Kritika Putra Mam Pahi, Shanmukha Deva Mam Pahi, Kritika Putra Mam Pahi, Shanmukha Deva Mam Pahi, Valli Vallabha Mam Pahi, Sena Nayaka Mam Pahi, Valli Vallabha Mam Pahi, Sena Nayaka Mam Pahi, Shulayudhara Mam Pahi, Shailagrastita Mam Pahi, Shulayudhara Mam Pahi, Shailagrastita Mam Pahi, Kalatita Mam Pahi, Balakara Mam Pahi, Kalatita Mam Pahi, Balakara Mam Pahi, Valli Vallabha Mam Pahi, Sena Nayaka Mam Pahi, Valli Vallabha Mam Pahi, Sena Nayaka Mam Pahi, Krauncha Vibedana Mam Pahi, Krauncha Vibedana Mam Pahi, Shanchala Tapaga Mam Pahi, Krauncha Vibedana Mam Pahi, Shanchala Tapaga Mam Pahi, Sachidananda Mam Pahi, Sadguru Rupa Mam Pahi, Sachidananda Mam Pahi, Sadguru Rupa Mam Pahi, Valli Vallabha Mam Pahi, Sena Nayaka Mam Pahi, Valli Vallabha Mam Pahi, Sena Nayaka Mam Pahi, Valli Vallabha Mam Pahi, Sena Nayaka Mam Pahi, Sena Nayaka Mam Pahi, Sena Nayaka Mam Pahi, Kumara Swami Mam Pahi, Kumara Swami Mam Pahi, Valli Vallabha Mam Pahi, Sena Nayaka Mam Pahi, Valli Vallabha Mam Pahi, Sena Nayaka Mam Pahi, Sena Nayaka Mam Pahi, Sena Nayaka Mam Pahi, Sena Nayaka Mam Pahi.
Singing bhajans like the one you just heard must be one of the easiest disciplines to follow daily, because not only do Pooja Appaji's bhajans uplift us spiritually, emotionally, and often even physically, but the words to the bhajans are all easily accessible on the app named Bhajan Mala. You are all encouraged to download and utilize this app. You are tuned in to Datta Arpanam on 103.1 FM. Today you have heard that you should not neglect your daily disciplines. Well, here are just some of the disciplines which you should adopt daily.
On a morning alone, there's the prayer while looking at your hands, the prayer before your feet touch the ground, the prayers in the shower, a kavacha while in the shower, the prayer for a safe journey, the prayer to protect Mother Earth, Datta Stavam, Ashta Lakshmi Stutihi, Sadguru Stavam, Datta Shodashi, prayers before you eat, Datta Stavam again before meals, prayers after meals, and all of this is before you even leave home for the day. The Bhajan Mala app you were just encouraged to download contains the words to all of these stotras. Just go to the subcategories labeled stotras and mantras and you will find words to these prayers and many more.
Appaji has also instructed that we chant Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha 21 times at 6 a.m., at noon, and again at 6 p.m. At these times, we should also try to have Lord Surya's darshan and pay respects to him.
Om Dram Dattaya Namaha should be chanted 9 times at night, and Om Namo Hanumate Namaha and Guru Mantra should both be chanted as many times as possible daily.
Omkara should also be chanted 21 times daily. Omkara, like pranayama, helps to focus the mind. Pranayama also helps us to tilt the karmic balance in a positive way. It should definitely be part of our daily Kriya Yoga practice.
Kriya Yoga, on top of improving flexibility, helps to keep us fit. It helps to combat anxiety and it relaxes us. Many would have been present during Puja Sri Balaswamiji's recent visit when he asked devotees to promise they would perform Kriya Yoga daily. Well, you see now that this was an instruction given for our own benefit.
Appaji has also, as part of our daily discipline schedule, advocated reading, studying and chanting Srimad Bhagavad Gita, daily physical exercise, daily meditation for at least 15 to 30 minutes, and reading SGS posts daily. Some of those same SGS posts remind us about what our approach to our daily discipline should be. They are:
Control the senses by constantly singing of God.
memorize verses,
Be enthusiastic.
perform rituals as per Shastras,
Pray often.
don't be lazy,
You were born for higher things, not for fleeting pleasures.
try your best,
Do not give up the work assigned for the reason that it takes a lot of time.
and finally, whatever you do, do it cheerfully.
Listeners, as we wish each and everyone success and pleasure in adhering to your daily disciplines without inconveniencing others, but instead with benefit to others, we begin to wrap up today's episode of Datta Arpanam.
Pranams and gratitude are offered at the divine feet of beloved Sadguru Deva, Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji and Pujya Shri 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 Datta Vijayananda Tirtha Swamiji, without whose teachings, compassion, love, guidance and music, this program would not exist.
Pranams to you, Puja Appaji and Sri Balaswamiji. Kindly forgive any errors which may have been committed in preparing or in sharing today's episode of Datta Arpanam, and please guide us to avoid such errors in the future.
Special thanks are extended to the staff at 103.1 FM and to the sponsors of Datta Arpanam: Samtran Insurance Brokers Limited, Debe Supermart Limited, Valini's Drug Mart Limited, and Kokie Supermart Limited. And of course, dear listener, an extra special thank you is extended to you for sharing your Sunday morning with us.
Remember, if you would like to listen to today's offering again, the podcast will be uploaded to 103.1 FM's website by tomorrow evening. Simply visit www.103fm.tt, click on podcasts and scroll down to Datta Arpanam. Alternatively, you can also access the link via the Datta Arpanam Facebook page.
Once again, everyone, thank you for tuning in today. You are invited to please tune in to 103.1 FM again next Sunday at 6 a.m. Atlantic Standard Time for another episode of Datta Arpanam, a showcase of the life, music and teachings of His Holiness Parama Pujya Shri 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 Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji.
Jai Guru Datta.
Shri Guru Datta. Harihi Om Tat Sat.
Sri Guru Datta,
Jai Guru Datta, 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 Sri Guru Datta.
Sri Ganeshaya Namaha, Sri Saraswati Namaha, Sri Padavallabha Narasimha Saraswati, Sri Guru Dattatreya Namaha, Dattatreyam Mahatmanam Varadam Bhaktavatsalam, प्रपन्नार्तिहरं वन्दे स्मर्तृगामी सनोवतु दीनबन्धुं कृपासिन्धुं सर्वकारणकारणं सर्वरक्षाकरं वन्दे स्मर्तृगामी सनोवतु शरणागतदीनार्थ परित्राणपरायणं नारायणं विभुं वन्दे स्मर्तृगामी सनोवतु सर्वानर्थहरं देवं सर्वमङ्गलमङ्गलं सर्वक्लेशहरं वन्दे स्मर्तृगामी सनोवतु ब्रह्मण्यं धर्मतत्त्वज्ञं भक्तकीर्तिविवर्धनं भक्ताभीष्टप्रदं वन्दे स्मर्तृगामी सनोवतु शोषणं पापपङ्कस्य दीपनं ज्ञानतेजसः तापप्रशमनं वन्दे स्मर्तृगामी सनोवतु सर्वरोगप्रशमनं सर्वपीडानिवारणं विपदुद्धरणं वन्दे स्मर्तृगामी सनोवतु जन्मसंसारबन्धघ्नं स्वरूपानन्ददायकं निःश्रेयसपदं वन्दे स्मर्तृगामी सनोवतु जयलाभयशक्कामदातुर्दत्तस्य यस्तवं भोगमोक्षप्रदस्येमं प्रपठेत् सकृती भवेत् श्रीगणेशाय नमः श्रीसरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीपादवल्लभ नरसिंह सरस्वती श्रीगुरुदत्तात्रेयाय नमः।
रथमध्यामश्वपूर्वां गजनादप्रबोधिनीं साम्राज्यदायिनीं देवीं गजलक्ष्मीं नमाम्यहम् धनमग्निर्धनं वायुः धनं भूतानि पञ्च च प्रभूतैश्वर्यसंधात्रीं धनलक्ष्मीं नमाम्यहम् पृथ्वीगर्भसमुद्भिन्ना नानाव्रीहिस्वरूपिणीं पशुसम्पत्स्वरूपां च धान्यलक्ष्मीं नमाम्यहम् न मात्सर्यं न च क्रोधो न भीतिर्न च बेधधीः यद्भक्तानां विनीतानां धैर्यलक्ष्मीं नमाम्यहम् पुत्रपौत्रस्वरूपेण पशुभृत्यात्मना स्वयं सम्भवन्तीं च संतान लक्ष्मीं देवीं नमाम्यहम् नानाविज्ञानसंधात्रीं बुद्धिशुद्धिप्रदायिनीम् अमृतत्वप्रदात्रीं च विद्यालक्ष्मीं नमाम्यहम् नित्यसौभाग्यसौशील्यं वरलक्ष्मी ददाति या प्रसन्नां स्त्रैणसुलभाम् आदिलक्ष्मीं नमाम्यहम् सर्वशक्तिस्वरूपां च सर्वसिद्धिप्रदायिनीं सर्वेश्वरीं श्रीविजय लक्ष्मीं देवीं नमाम्यहम् अष्टलक्ष्मीसमाहार स्वरूपां तां हरिप्रियां मोक्षलक्ष्मीं महालक्ष्मीं सर्वलक्ष्मीं नमाम्यहम् दारिद्र्यदुःखहरणं समृद्धिरपि सम्पदां सच्चिदानन्दपूर्णत्वम् अष्टलक्ष्मीस्तुतिर्भवेद् सच्चिदानन्दपूर्णत्वम् अष्टलक्ष्मीस्तुतिर्भवेद्।
श्रीगणेशाय नमः श्रीसरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीपादवल्लभ नरसिंह सरस्वती श्रीगुरुदत्तात्रेयाय नमः। सद्गुरुस्तवः सिद्धिबुद्धिमहायोगभरणीयो गणाधिपः यस्वयं सच्चिदानन्दं सद्गुरुं तन्नमाम्यहम् यस्य दत्तात्रेयभावो भक्तानामात्मदानतः सूच्यते सच्चिदानन्दं सद्गुरुं तन्नमाम्यहम् योगाज्योतिः समुद्दीप्तं जयलक्ष्मी नृसिंहयोः अद्वयं सच्चिदानन्दं सद्गुरुं तन्नमाम्यहम् योगविद्याचित्रभानुं चित्रभानुशरद्भवम् ज्ञानदं सच्चिदानन्दं सद्गुरुं तन्नमाम्यहम् गणेशहोमेऽर्कदिने नित्यं श्रीचक्रपूजने दीक्षितं सच्चिदानन्दं सद्गुरुं तन्नमाम्यहम् अगस्त्यमुनिसङ्क्रान्तनानावैद्यधुरन्धरम् भवघ्नम् सच्चिदानन्दम् सद्गुरुम् तन्नमाम्यहम् वाद्योदम् च दिव्यनामसङ्कीर्तनकलानिधिम् नादाब्धिम् सच्चिदानन्दम् सद्गुरुम् तन्नमाम्यहम् दत्तपीठाधिपम् धर्मरक्षणोपायबन्धुरम् सत्कविम् सच्चिदानन्दम् सद्गुरुम् तन्नमाम्यहम् विधूतभक्तसम्मोहमवधूतम् जगद्गुरुम् स्वाश्रयम् सच्चिदानन्दम् सद्गुरुम् तन्नमाम्यहम् साधुत्वम् भक्तिमैश्वर्यम् दानम् योगमरोगताम् सन्मतिम् ज्ञानमानन्दम् सद्गुरुस्तवतो लभेत् श्रीगणेशाय नमः श्रीसरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीपादवल्लभनरसिंह सरस्वती श्रीगुरुदत्तात्रेयाय नमः
सच्चिदानन्द सद्गुरु दत्तं भज भज भक्त षोडशावतार रूपा दत्तं भज रे भक्त महिषपुरवासा श्रीकालाग्निशमन दत्तं प्रद्दुटूरु ग्रामवासा योगिराजवल्लभं बेङ्गळूरु नगरस्थिता दत्त योगिराजम् अनन्तपुरे स्थितं ज्ञानसागरं भज दत्तं विजयवाड विलसितं श्यामकमललोचनं मचलीपट्टणसंस्थितम् अत्रिवरदराजं जयलक्ष्मीपुरे संस्कारहीनशिवरूपं मद्रासुनगरसंवासम् आदिगुरुनामकं ऋषिकेशतीर्थराजं श्रीदिगम्बरदत्तम् आकिवीडुस्थं विश्वाम्बरावधूतदत्तं नूजिवीडुपट्टणे देवदेवावतारं भाग्यनगरस्थितं दत्तावधूतं भज गम्डिगुम्टजनपदे दत्तदिगम्बरदेवं कोच्चिन्नगरे स्थितं सिद्धराजनामकं मायामुक्तावधूता मच्चरपाके लीलाविश्वम्भरं सूरन्नगरे भज सच्चिदानन्दजन्मस्थले दत्तकाशीश्वरं पूर्वसमुद्रतीरे दत्तरामेश्वरं सच्चिदानन्द सद्गुरुदत्तं भज भज भक्त षोडशावताररूपा दत्तं भज रे भक्त श्रीगणेशाय नमः श्रीसरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीपादवल्लभनरसिंह सरस्वती श्रीगुरुदत्तात्रेयाय नमः
ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ तत्सत्